Okay, evaluation two. This one is as an ensemble. So, oh, excuse me. Evaluation two. So, what was there to really improve on, let's say? What specific method was followed during the rehearsal and how did this help? As an ensemble, of course, you were in charge of the props, behind the scenes, etc., etc. And it was very, very, very important to understand what was happening. So a lot of active listening was used because, of course, we couldn't. Not all of us could look backstage for when the scene finished because the audience would see us. So I had to use my active listening, wait for the last line, and boom, put the props on. Get the right props on, move this, move that, as well as coordinating with my classmates because we could see each other. We can't talk to each other because that spoils the magic of the show. So we had to just understand, and we also had to really understand where the tape was because it was taped up where the chairs and the tables and all the props were, and we had to make sure which one was for which. They were all different colours, but when it's pitch black, them colours are useful, aren't they? Brilliant, honestly, but hey, it is what it is. How did this implicate rehearsals? It gave us more confidence during rehearsals when, it gave us more confidence, really, when the tape was marked and flipping... What else? The visual designs on the stage were definitely much more helpful, even though the audience could see them, but that's fine. And active listening implicated rehearsals because it's something that we all worked on and it's something that we did together as an ensemble. How did the rehearsal process go as an ensemble? It actually went decently. It actually really, really went decently. We all knew our stuff. We knew all our lines. Not lines, so we all knew our actions and, it was just simple. Don't get me wrong, Ryan was getting quite stressed because there were times on show day we had to do a massive switch around and switch everything up, but still we weren't really panicking over it because we knew what we had to do. Ryan gave us simple ones. I had 3 things to do and that was it. Some people had 0, but I had only 3 things to do and I was completely fine with that. What were the strengths of the piece? As an ensemble, my strengths as an ensemble, I used my active listening quite a bit. I understood what I was doing, What I was doing was very crucial, making sure the props were in a certain place, and it's a very important thing to understand the industry, the strengths. What were the strengths of the company? They actually had the props. The props were actually all there. The props were all there as an ensemble. And I thought, this is brilliant. We have enough chairs, we have enough tables, we have enough everything. There was no shortage. And we were able to fit enough audience members, which is absolutely fantastic because we had to use chairs. So I'm absolutely delighted by that. The strengths of the company, got enough props in, got the lighting done. And Ryan was just very clear. He was annoyed with us a lot, but I don't care. We got it done! Well, I do care, but we got it done! So that's all that matters. Those were the strengths of the piece. What was the strengths of the company? That was everything. Enough props, very clear instructions, as well as use of good lighting. Big up, Joshua. And Rebecca and Ronnie. What were the strengths of me as an individual? I used my active listening quite a bit. 9 times out of 10, there was this one time I messed up the props, but that's fine. It was at the beginning, actually. I left my chair on. Whoops. But I'll further get into that later. So the strengths of me as an individual, use of active listening and remembering what I'm doing props-wise and ensemble-wise, because let me tell you, the amount of times in the past I've forgotten what I'm doing in terms of props, it's a disaster. It's honestly an absolute disaster. But it is what it is. But our class understood it, and well, that's the important thing. As our class understood absolutely everything that we were doing. They understood their points. They understood their the props that they were picking up, and yeah, that's everything. What were the weaknesses of the piece? Okay, the weakness was in the very beginning when I was standing on a chair, and I will have a photo of it in the coursework. I was standing on a chair. Now, in the rehearsal previously, like the day previously, the rehearsal directly previously to the actual show, I stood off the chair, I took it backstage, but then one of my classmates took the chair back and put it back on stage. And I was like, oh, okay, then they probably want to keep the chair on, so I just leave it there. So in the actual show, I stepped off the chair and I just walked off, and then it just stayed there. It was like, oh, crap. I was supposed to take it off then. But what the heck? Why? How come the rehearsal process before, the chair was needed? Well, the chair that I was stood on was needed, but then in the actual show it wasn't. It was a bit odd. But so in the next scene afterwards, I just took it off as well as put the sofa on. But that's fine. That's the one weakness. I could have interacted with my class more. Okay, is this chair actually needed, or is this the one-time mistake? I could have done that a lot better. What were the weaknesses of the piece? I'm pretty sure. One or two people also forgot to move their props, and I think Rebecca had to do it. But that's fine. It is what it is. It happens. We're all human beings, and we all make mistakes. So if people need to remember which chairs go where, you know, what tables go where, and that's fine. And also there was a time as well before True West, actually, before my one, the table was actually shifted further towards away from the audience instead of towards the audience, and it was marked with tape, so I had to move it myself. But that's fine. That's something you had to do. And the weaknesses of the company, letting the year ones in. I don't care letting those year ones in. But to be honest, I think there could have been a lot more clarity on which props go where, as well as understanding how, like, how do I put this? Making each group goes on, has a set of props, but it needs to understand that those set of props do not impact the next scene or the scene before, if that makes any sense. Like, making sure each scene isn't impacted by other people's props. I think that should have been noted. What were the weaknesses of me as an individual? Oh crap. Did I do it wrong? Well, the strengths of me as an individual was active listening, you know, and I understood which was where. But the weaknesses of the company, the weaknesses of me as an individual was definitely missing the chair in the beginning, so I had to take that back off. What will you do to improve your weaknesses as an individual? Just communicate more with the class. Communicate more with the class. Communication was key. I did not communicate enough, so I definitely could have communicated much better. So, yeah. And the strengths of me as an individual, just in case I didn't do this, because I'm not really doing this evaluation, active listening, and I did much better with my props. I did so much better than previous times. Out of all three of them, I pretty much knocked them out of the park. Except the first one, but I got that. I did it in the scene after, which was fine. And the audience don't know. So yeah, that's everything. That's me. That's an evaluation of the classes and ensemble and myself. That's evaluation.